Well, about a month ago, Clean Skies told you about Alan Carlin, a veteran economist at the EPA, who says he was told to be quiet by his supervisors when it came to airing doubts that he had about the agency's plans to regulate greenhouse gas emissions under the so-called endangerment finding. And a series of leaked emails between Carlin and his supervisors over the issue caused a mini firestorm on Capitol Hill. Clean Skies' Dan Goldstein last week sat down with the Economist at the center of the debate to get his story.
In March, the EPA was putting the finishing touches on the draft of its historic endangerment finding. It would give the EPA broad powers to regulate carbon emissions, so the agency sent it around for internal review by its various departments. In response, EPA economist Alan Carlin submitted his own paper to his supervisors. He said the EPA's draft finding was flawed. First, because he said it used information supplied by the United Nations that, in his view, was 3 years out of date, and
secondly, it supported using a hypothesis, namely that increases in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere will produce a significant change in temperatures. And third, because in the past EPA has been very careful to do its own analysis and not depend on outside reports, which is just the opposite of what they did here.
Carlin, who has been with the EPA for more than 35 years in its Office of Policy and Economics, sent his finding to his supervisor to pass on to the EPA's Office of Air and Radiation, or OAR, which was drafting the rule. And here's what he got back from his boss, Al McGartland, according to emails that were leaked by the Competitive Enterprise Institute. The administrator and the administration have decided to move forward on endangerment, and your comments do not help the legal or policy case for this decision. Do not have any direct communication with anyone outside on endangerment. There should be no meetings, emails, written statements, phone calls, etc. Carlin says he was told to return to his other assignments.
The emails that were written, I think, are fairly clear.
But EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson said it was all a misunderstanding. Carlin was free to talk to whomever he wanted, Jackson told the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee last month.
Those are the facts, and as you can tell, they are anything but suppressive.
But one EPA official suggested to reporters that they look into accusations that Carlin plagiarized some of his research, an accusation that Carlin vehemently denies. And the EPA also said in a statement that Carlin is an economist, not a scientist, and not qualified to talk about the science of global warming.
I'm probably one of the best informed people within EPA to work on things like this. I've worked in this exact area for 10 to 15 years and full-time for about 5 to 6 years.
Jackson said that some of Carlin's views were included in the EPA's draft rule anyway.
His views are reflected in the endangerment finding, in the technical support document, which is a synthesis of the science of global warming and public endangerment.
Not true, according to Carlin.
It appears to me that they might not have had a huge interest in what I had to say. I don't know whether they were afraid of it, but they did not want it said, or at least did not want it to reach the Air Office.
Senate Republicans have called for an investigation into the EPA. They say the agency created, quote, a culture of intimidation, silencing views that run counter to the Obama administration's policy, a charge the EPA's Democratic defenders firmly reject.
I think that is a brutal charge to levy.
Carlin says he's not a partisan and just wants an honest debate on global warming. He believes climate change exists, but that man's contribution is much smaller than others believe. He wants the name-calling and smear campaigns to cease.
My view is that it's long past time that we should talk about the scientific issues and not talk about who is making these points. It's been pointed out, for example, that Mr. Gore does not have any background whatsoever in the, I think, physical sciences. And it is well past the time that we should cast aspersions at people, and well time that we discuss the issues for what they are.
But with an uphill fight in the Senate to pass climate change legislation later this year, Carlin's experience could just be the beginning. Dan Goldstein, Clean Skies News.